Hi, Jamie. You are on the line. What would you like to
Hey,
talk about today? Hey.
yeah, thanks for having me. Just had a quick question. How do I stand up for myself as an atheist among coworkers and friends? Wanted to put that question out there.
You cut up for me a little bit, Jamie. I'm sorry. All I heard was something atheist
Mhm.
coworkers and friends. I hate to ask you to repeat yourself. Do you mind?
Yeah, would it be best if I took my AirPods out? Would that be causing an issue?
I think I can hear you okay now. Why don't you
You're
give it
probably
another
fine.
go?
Okay. How do I stand up for myself as an atheist among coworkers and friends?
Depends on what's going on, like what's happening. Like,
Yeah.
do you feel as though your rights are being infringed upon? Do you feel as though people are making the situation uncomfortable?
I feel like I always have to put myself into a box or censor what I say
Mm,
around people at work and around friend groups. I'm trans and a lot of my friends are into the woo-woo pagan nonsense. And so
mhm.
like similar to progressive Christianity, I feel like there's a stigma attached to like being a buzzkill or coming across like an angry atheist when I just want to try to be like, maybe you should apply skepticism to what you're getting into here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
So I am very openly atheist with my friends. Like they're all aware of what I do and, you know, what I say
Yeah.
and where I am online. Initially, it was not easy. And sometimes it's still not easy to have conversations about skepticism. So I try to mostly ask questions. So, like, ask follow up questions about, where did you source that? Where did that come from? Where did you find that? Like, kind of offer to go through things with people, but I also pick my battles, right? So I
Yeah.
don't want to spend all day, every day in my daily life in constant
Mhm.
combat mode because other people around me believe different things than I do, because that's literally all I would ever do, because there's not a lot of atheists roaming around. So I would just be constantly in
Yeah.
conflict with everybody, and that's not healthy. So I need to make sure that I pick my moments. And it's usually if I feel like I'm being pressed upon, or if I feel like somebody's harming themselves or somebody else, or if I'm being pressed upon, or if somebody's doing something that's a bad influence on society as a whole or impacts the
Mhm.
large people groups, then I feel compelled to say something. But otherwise, sometimes I just let it roll off my back. I just don't need to fight
Mhm.
every fight. It's exhausting. I don't know. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, that's most sorry, Paul, go ahead.
Well, what I was gonna say was there's two very I think the answer is very different for what happens at work and what happens in your with your friend
Valid.
groups. So your friend groups, these are people you are choosing to be in your life. So you have a whole array of things you can choose. One of which is how important to you is self authenticity all the time.
Hmm.
None of us get to be self authentic all the time, but how much of the time do you want to be self-authentic versus being social? Because that's entirely a choice you can make. And if self-authentic, if being important, like authentic to yourself is super important, then you may need a different friend group. Like that just may be, even though it sucks and might be geographically suck. I'm in this similar situation. I don't have a large friend group at this point either, but it's just, you need to just choose that because you can let go of your friends all the time. So that's, you pick that. At work though, work, you do not get to pick your coworkers. You need a job to live, all those kind of things. So the answer at work is that really religious stance shouldn't come up from anyone. So that it's not a topic that should be coming up anywhere really at work. So if other people are bringing it up or other people are talking about topics that you disagree with or uncomfortable with, you're just going to disagree with people at work. Like that's just the thing that's going to happen. And you need to either figure out a way to let other people be wrong or be comfortable with it. Or also you have other avenues to you. You have human resources potentially depending on the size of your company or management. It's like, you know what? You can you don't want to be the tattletale, you don't have this time, but or you can even say in the group, well, you know what, this may not be an appropriate topic for a work meeting, or like I don't know how often it's coming up and
Yeah.
in what context
Yeah.
it's
Depends
coming
on
up,
your
but
business structure.
also like at the same time, you also shouldn't be the person who's at work, talking about if they're briefly talking about their funeral and you're the angry atheist saying, yeah, you'll never see that person ever again, even though you think you will, like you would equally be wrong for jumping in and expressing that kind of view. So at work, some people, and I'm very lucky to no longer be in that case, but I know I worked in a lot of offices dealing with different viewpoints. There is just conflict management versus I wouldn't ever
Yeah.
try to convert someone there, for example.
God, no, I would fire you instantly. If you like, that's not a
Yeah.
place for that to happen. Like, in an office environment, I would say that, not everybody has similar beliefs as you do, and this could be a cause for
Mhm.
potential conflict. So, perhaps this should be a conversation that doesn't take place in the workplace, and if they press the issue, then I would report them. And that's not
I
being a
think
tattletale.
the
That's preventing someone from asserting dominance that they think that they deserve in a space that you're being forced to cohabit with them.
thank you so much for your responses. They were really helpful. I think the one thing that is causing me to ask this question mainly is I'm a trans woman. I live in Missouri, and so I'm being forced to, like, leave my state for another state.
Oh,
Like, I'm moving to Washington, like, next year, and the only reason why I'm feeling so angry and, like, the reason why I'm asking myself these questions, like, should I be standing up for myself as an atheist, is because a lot of the anti-trans legislation is fueled by Christian fundamentalists or Christo-fascists, right? And at
yep.
my work, it's filled with a lot of very conservative people, and I've been doing everything I can to raise awareness about the trans genocide that's been going on, and, like, who's behind it, and, like, it's really hard to get around the issue that it's mostly bigoted Christians who are
Mhm.
pushing for this legislation and forcing me to leave this state that I don't want to leave. And so
I'm
when it
sorry.
comes to, like, talking about trans issues, I can't not talk about Christianity, like, at work. And so it's just kinda like it feels frustrating, to be honest.
Yeah, it would be.
But yeah,
I'm really
yeah.
sorry that you're being put
But
in that situation.
yeah, I don't know. It made me wanna,
I,
like, push
I guess
back on people, like, yeah.
though some of the work advice it's almost the same thing at work. Like if they're not accepting you as a person, that is you need to defend yourself. I don't care
Mhm.
if you're trans or whatever the issue. If someone at work is invalidating you as a human, that you just need to
Mhm.
put a stop to and get your manager involved. And like that's just got to be a hard no. I do hope for you that you will, even though it's sucky, I hope you will now be in a position where fewer people knew you before, and maybe this more people can see you as your real self. I hope that for you, that that,
Yeah,
that
you
that'll
won't
be
have to
just the new
Appreciate it.
thing.
grapple with what you're going to be able to and not to talk about because you can just start as your
Yeah.
authentic self and see who gravitates to you and then just be your authentic self all the time and lose a lot of that stress. Hopefully, knock on wood.
Yeah. Awesome.
I'm
Well,
really
thanks for
sorry. I'm
answering my
sorry that
question, and,
no problem. I'm sorry about
All our best, Jamie.